Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday, the 30th of May. So, looking at the Eurodollar first, and well, we've seen a continuation of the sell off that we started seeing on Friday. Yesterday, it continued somewhat, and today it's continued some more. Currently heading possibly towards the daily 21. This has been tested before, but may provide a target where it will see yet another bounce if we get down that far. At the moment, there's a bit of softening built partly on the dovish remarks from the Draghi, once again justifying the soft stance that's been taken, and also there's the Greece negotiations, which apparently aren't going too well at the moment, which sounds like Greece may default on its next payment of debt. So at this point, there's certainly some uncertainty in the European region. So the other thing to bear in mind this week as well, which will obviously have a bearing on the strength of the euro, is we've got non-farms on Friday, and the news really starts pouring out from the 1st of June. But 1st and 2nd, I expect some sort of volatility through these markets, or some considerable volatility through the markets, I would suggest. Okay, so looking down the timeframes for today, and well, we've already sold off, as I said, quite a bit, mainly through the late US session there through into the Asian session, and we're now, well, there's a bit of a reversal going on at the moment here, which could see it pushing towards its daily pivot. There's always a possibility of that. It missed it yesterday, so there is a bit of a chance that it could come back at least to those 60.21s. There's a possibility if it can break this 60-minute 8. So certainly a possibility of a bit of a continuation at that point. Of course, then it's how it reacts. If it gets that pivot, it starts reacting. It got pretty close to it yesterday, started reacting almost straight away, saying that it consolidated around it for a while, but come afternoon it sold off. So interesting to see how things react if it does get that far. Let's have a look at cable. So euro looking soft, cable well also looking relatively soft. The polls haven't been particularly good for the Conservatives, with a gap narrowing quite considerably. Some of this may be being reflected. Friday was the sort of the quite a biggish sell-off day there. Yesterday, bit of a rally with very little volumes, and then today, well, it's come off again at the moment. We have got the weekly pivot above us, as we have with the euro, but well, there's a possibility of any sort of rallies may move into that, but we'd need something positive to get us up there at the moment, and there seems little on the horizon. And now we have got the possibility of running into the daily pivot, which is just above now. If it did that, it will run into the 50 to 34, a whole combination of resistance around that level. So any rallies into that area could see us coming off once again. A break, of course, would see the target of the weekly pivot as a potential. And at the moment, we've got a weak money flow here. Just put the RSI back on there. Weak money flow kicking through at the moment, so it was suggesting volume selling. But as I say, any sort of rally beyond that sort of area may see us running back towards that weekly pivot today. But there is news, as I said, later in the week. Thursday really kicks the news in, which will affect the pound as well. So dollar yen's strengthening a little bit here this morning. Bit of a nowhere day yesterday, barely moved in the very light volumes. The US market, UK market, two biggest markets are not rolling, so or not trading as such, both closed for bank holidays. And that's pretty much reflected now here. We've got this sort of head and shoulder type pattern on the 4 hours, very crude sort of pattern, but all the same it's there, and well, there's the potential for more downside maybe later. Now we've air kissed the daily pivot, but any sort of rallies would point towards that area, although we've got the potential resistance from 60.21s first. does at the moment look weak. Certainly looks for the weaker side at the moment in dollar yen. Aussie dollar, well, it's really a choppy couple of days we've seen. Friday didn't really move too much. Yesterday, not much more. And today at the moment is say in a short-term chop at least. We have got the weekly pivot above us, so that could be a target if it starts a little bit of a rally. It looks like it's had a try so far in this current session, but it's sold off as soon as it did break through the pivot. But as I say, if the other markets start running up, we see a bit of dollar selling. Well, there's certainly a target up there. Personally, though, it looks weaker than anything else, and we could see a little bit more selling at some point. Okay, and finally, let's have a quick look. Actually, a quick flick of oil. Oil sitting around the $50 mark. Okay, so let's look at the Canadian dollar. Well, after the gains it made against the US dollar last week, last couple of weeks now, actually, it's been doing much better of late. It's slowed up, it's consolidated, as not really surprising with the US markets on holiday, UK markets on holiday here. We're sitting around the weekly pivot at the moment. It's erring on towards the upside potentially, so there's a potential a bit more of a bounce there. Although in the short term here or intermediate term, we've got a daily pivot untouched below, and any sell-off below the 60-21s may just confirm that move back towards that pivot and maybe a bit more. It's been chopping around, as I say, very little movement yesterday overall from where it opened to close. And even on Friday, it's a really consolidated phase. It was running through most of the day, actually. It ran through right from 11 o'clock. It sort of just stayed in a very, very tight range here. So it may just come within that range. Certainly not looking too good on the trending front. So my favourite at the moment is the euro, but really depends on how it reacts this morning. As I said, if it runs back towards that daily pivot, well, that would if it starts making a more solid move there, that could be a target for the upside. But overall, with the lower highs, lower lows, I'm still quite bearish on the euro. Okay, have a great day. I'll be back on, well, tomorrow morning. Bye for now.